She always has the best intros. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Well, as Betty said, I have been attending the chapel for about 2.5 years. I've had the privilege of serving on the board, and they've encouraged me to share my thoughts and any ideas that they believed would benefit the chapel. Like, besides the logo, we had Crazy Hat Day. We should do that again. That was fun. Y'all know I have the hats. I was accepted the first day as a full-fledged member, even before I got my certificate, as we all are here. And I've had the privilege of presiding, but still being able to add my meditations and pick songs, add my little flair. And of course, besides presiding, I have the honor of speaking, like today. So when deciding on what to speak, I go through this Rolodex in my head. I guess I'm dating myself, Rolodex, but that's what popped into my head when I wrote this. So, what do I enjoy? What do I think would be interesting? What do I think you would think would be interesting? Is there something that you would appreciate, or what would be the takeaway? Would it be entertaining at least? Sometimes it's a little daunting. As most of y'all know, I like to talk about science and metaphysics, mixing the two, and if possible, provide a unique perceptive. So Betty called me our resident scientist, and I like that. She also calls me Sunshine. I like that too. So when I go through my little presentation, everybody sits and listens quietly, and my goal is that I was able to provide information either on a new topic, provide a different view on that topic, or at the very least, again, be entertaining. Whether presiding or speaking, inevitably at the end of the service, depending on who I'm partnered with, I'm asked if I get messages. And so far it's been no. Hi, snuck in on me. So far it's been no, but everybody encourages me to do it. The first message I received was from Reverend Whitley, and I excitedly went home and told my husband about it. We sat at the kitchen table and tried to decipher it and see what its meaning was, and came up with some pretty good ideas. Barbara Moen gave me an excellent reading. I think the second visit I was here, of a big cat of prey who was laying on huge leaves and just gently riding the current of the river down, and it was very peaceful, and she gave me her interpretation of what she thought that meant. So I'm always thoroughly impressed. It's a gift, and every time someone gives me a message that either resonates with me or makes me look within to find the answer, it's always a way for introspection. Reverend Hancock was one of the first people to encourage me to try to give me a message. She walked up to me one day, grabbed me by the hands, and said, "Don't think, tell me what you see. What's the first thing that comes to mind?" I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and saw something like light blue, kind of fuzzy, maybe like a baby blanket, but not really. So I told her about it. I said, "Does that mean anything?" And she thought for a second. She politely said, "No, I'll keep trying." And that's what I've been doing ever since. As life is busy, and for all of us, sometimes it's hard to get downtime. My downtime used to be snuggling up with a hard copy book. Now it's just kind of watching TV or watching the computer. I had hurt my foot last year, so I haven't been playing volleyball. And I've become a little bit of a couch potato, which is never a good thing. I also sit in front of the computer a lot during the day as I work from home. We own our own business, and I do other things on the computer. And, you need to get up and walk around because nobody wants a secretary spread, you know what I mean? So I moved my laptop into the kitchen, and I try to do some work standing up. So, I'm sure this insight into Dina's mind is very interesting, and I know you're very excited about all of this information. Hey, I could talk about my dogs. I got 4 dogs. I got a really ornery cat. But instead, what I've been doing is trying to establish a background to try to give you guys an idea of where I'm at on my journey today. And I've always felt that I've been intuitively inclined. I have books and journals and scraps of papers of experiences that I've had and things that I've seen and things that I've heard. And I've always wanted to pierce that veil between the waking state of consciousness and joyously run and jump on the other side and return with all of these brilliant stories of what I've seen. I covet this as some people covet wealth. When speaking to Reverend Flynn about this, She feels that I'm, quote, overly excited and maybe trying to rush it. She's probably right. She cautions that it will happen in its right time and only when I'm ready, and not just wanting it, because she reminded me, want only comes from want. So taking all this into account, I've been doing research with an open mind and focusing only positive energy in my pursuit and not substances coming from lack moving forward. As we know, the internet has a varied and vast library of information that could either assist me or deter me in this endeavor, depending on where I look. I sat down one day and thought, what am I truly searching for? And then it came to me, clarity. I'm searching for clarity. I know I have these abilities inside me, as we all do. Intuition, empathy, I see things, I hear things, and I definitely feel things physically and spiritually. I know there are a lot of things just below the skin waiting to be freed. I just need the clarity on how to bring them forward. I had heard that if you have a flurry of paramount ideas and musings that are filling up your thoughts, you should write them down on paper and let the paper hold them instead of your head. So this prompted me to start a blog. It's still in the beginning stages. I do encourage you guys to check it out. It's called metaphysicsme.com, and that stands for metaphysicsmadeeasy.com. So please check it out. Leave comments, good, bad, or ugly, preferably good. Subscribe. I don't have any subscribers. I don't know. Okay, now that shameless self-promotion is over, let me share with you where and how I plan on finding the clarity needed to achieve my goals. There are organs in our bodies that correspond to different energy channels. We know these supercharged energy wells as chakras, and all have corresponding physical attributes. I'm going to be speaking of the sixth chakra, or the indigo or Anja chakra, also known as the third eye, because this is where I believe I'm going to receive my clarity. I must first close my two eyes so that my third eye will open. Love it that you talked about the forehead. We are always on something, it's always there. She didn't know what I was speaking of. So, here we go. The pineal gland is a small pine-coned shaped organ located deep inside the brain, in the middle of the brain, hence the name. It's in an area called the epithalamus, right where the two halves of the brains meet. Nikki Seton of SpiritualAwakening.net states that it is our, quote, link between our physical earthly illusion and universal intelligent infinity and the spirit world. She believes that this is a gateway to our alternate dimensions and explains that the pineal gland is the physical manifestation of your third eye. It contains water and it contains rods and cones like your other eyes. It acts as a receiver that converts universal energy into imagery for the brain to interpret and understand. In antiquity, the pineal gland has been traced back to Galen, the Greek medical doctor and philosopher who spoke of it in his 8th book on the usefulness of the parts of the body, where he named the pineal gland due to its, quote, resemblance in shape and size to the nuts found in the cones of the stone pine. Another Greek doctor, Herophilius, who is the inventor of the scientific method, also wrote numerous volumes regarding anatomy in which he details the importance of the pineal gland. Unfortunately, these tomes were destroyed in the Alexandria Library. Even though these doctors were providing information way back as early as 300 BC, it's René Descartes who is attributed with bringing attention to the pineal gland. He was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist, famous for his philosophy summed up in the statement, cogno ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. He is associated with the pineal gland when he stated in his second book, The Passions of the Soul, that it is the, quote, seat of the soul in 1660 AD, which has caused much controversy since, and since much of what he says in his book has been proven wrong, not just by modern technology, but even during the time of publication. But he states, my view is that the gland is the principal seat of the soul and the place in which all of our thoughts are formed. The reason I believe this is that I cannot find any part of the brain except this, that which is not double. Since we only have one thing with two eyes, hear only one voice with two ears, and in short, have never more than one thought at a time, it must necessarily be the case that the impressions which enter by the two eyes or by the two ears, and so on, unite with each other in some part of the body before being considered by the soul. Now it is impossible to find any such place in the whole head except this gland. Moreover, it is situated in the most suitable position for this purpose, in the middle of all concavities, and it is supported and surrounded by the little branches of the carotid arteries, which bring the spirits into the brain. Okay, so Galen had already shown that the gland is actually surrounded by veins, not arteries. And there's many other inaccuracies in the book, and in both of his books, actually. And this has been pointed out, but still, to this day, he's mentioned all over the internet in regard to the pineal gland. As the name suggests, the pineal gland is a gland. Its job is to produce hormones. The main hormones that it secretes is serotonin, which helps us get through the day, and then at night serotonin gets converted to melatonin, which is paramount in helping regulate sleep. It's really cool that the pineal gland is activated by darkness. How does it know it's dark? It sees it with those rods and cones that I spoke of earlier, which is the third eye. And this is thought to be the original idea of calling it the third eye before it was connected with spirituality. Speaking of spirituality, the pineal gland also produces DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which I hope I pronounced that right, I think I did, which is called the spirit molecule. Nobody really seems to know why the pineal gland produces DMT or what its purpose is. It is known that DMT is a naturally occurring tryptamine found in various animals, fungi, and plants, and that cultures have used it as a hallucinogenic drug for ayahuasca ceremonies to travel and experience higher realms. I actually did a lot of research. I almost thought about doing my speech on DMT alone just because I'm fascinated that we have a hormone in our body that makes it so easy for us to experience these psi events. And Dr. Rick Strassman is a researcher and psychiatrist and has studied DMT extensively. He states, a fundamental role in DMT in our consciousness is suggested by the brain's actively transporting DMT into its confines, using precious energy. DMT may be a spirit molecule, naturally produced and capable of transporting us to different states of mind and unimaginable realms of experience. The pineal gland seemed to me the most likely place to look for the endogenous DMT. So, as I'm doing research on the spirit molecule, I came across so much material on hallucinogenic drugs. Starting in the late 1960s, as hallucinogenic drugs became more popular in the pursuit of altered states of consciousness, so did spirituality. Due to this rise of interest, it was discovered that LSD was shown to become highly concentrated in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Dr. Kathy Forty is a clinical psychologist, author, and inventor of the Trifinity 8 technology, which she calls a spiritual tool for positive vibrational change. She recalls a story of a friend that acquired psi abilities after hitting her head on the roof of her car when she was getting in her car. She hit it so hard it caused bleeding, not only externally, but she also suffered internal bleeding. Due to this brain trauma, Dr. Forty believes that the DMT molecule flooded into her pineal gland and therefore unleashing the DMT release valve. She relays her friend's experience as having, quote, no veil or filters between this world and the next, something that she likened to her schizophrenic patients. On her site, she explains that DMT is, quote, the most potent psychedelic known to man, and our brain produces it every day. That's what one might call a true head trip. She continues by stating that this naturally produced narcotic can be found in human urine, cerebral spinal fluid, and our brain tissue. DMT is the simplest of the tryptamine psychedelics and closely related to serotonin. Unlike other mind-altering drugs, the brain likes DMT and actively transports it across the blood-brain barrier into its tissues. Japanese researchers discovered it's the only psychedelic drug that the brain hungrily accepts like some kind of brain food. And she said, you got to ask yourself, who was the intelligent design behind placing a veritable psychedelic drug dispensary in our head? She also hypothesizes that instead of DMT being classified as a spirit molecule, It's actually a spiritual transport fluid for human evolution and or dimensional transition. This would explain why DMT is elevated in the brain during peak spiritual as well as near-death experiences. She's also curious if people are born with psi abilities have a larger pineal glands. Curious, right? As the pineal gland is the physical manifestation of the third eye, I'd like to show how some symbolism of the one eye has been used for thousands of years and has numerous names. Mesoamerican artwork and Aztec glyphs have images with faces of the centered one eye. The ancient Egyptians have the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Ra. Although both linked under the all-seeing eye, they are sometimes confused to be the same symbol, and they are not. The Eye of Horus, also called Wadjet, has the curving tail to the left and is associated with the heavens and is good and divine, offering positive protection. The Eye of Ra has the curving tail to the right and has a, quote, legend of hate and destruction, therefore it's a symbol of protection born of power, fury, and violence. Interestingly, it's the Eye of Horus that's used as the evil eye when it's not that little bead, the white bead with the blue eye, offering protection against those that wish to do the wearer harm. Also online, there are side-by-side comparisons demonstrating the visual similarities of the Eye of Horus and the cross-section of the brain, showing the corpus callosum, thalamus, hypothalamus, and medulla oblongata. So check that out if you're online, if you're just curious, type in Eye of Horus, and it'll pop up. There are numerous references to third eye in religious texts. In the Bible, Matthew 6:22-23 states, "The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of thine light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is thee be darkness, how great is the darkness?" One of the sites that I was on, JamaicaGleaner.com, states that the Holy Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas emphasize the spirituality begins with the third eye. Guru, I have this spelled out phonetically, and let me apologize if you end up seeing this. Guru Paramasa Nityananda states that there is no master in the East, I'm so sorry, there is no master in the East who has not worked on awakening it. All the Hindu divas and divas, gods and goddesses, are visually seen through three eyes. It means that only if your third eye is awakened, you can become God, not otherwise. Many on the mystic path yearn for the experiences that the third eye offers. They seek the powers of telepathy, clairvoyance, and clairaudience. They desire to fulfill Jesus' full exhortation. It is written in your own scriptures that God said to certain leaders of the people, "I say ye are gods." John 10:34. An e-commerce site that I found also, Cascar.com, offers a pendant of the Hand of Fatima, also known as the Hamsa, the Kamsa, the Hume's Hand, and the Hand of Miriam. It is a symbol used in Islamic and Jewish faiths and it's the national emblem for Algeria. There are varying symbols with 3 fingers and either 2 symmetrical thumbs or 2 asymmetrical thumbs. Either version can be displayed with fingers pointing up or down, and in the center of the hand it shows an eye and sometimes other relevant images pertaining on a particular region or religion. Origins can be traced back as far as 1550 BC to 330 BCE by the Phoenicians, who used it to ward off the evil eye. That evil eye is all around, and you gotta watch out. I found something comparable to the Hand of Fatima that has 5 fingers and an eye, and it's actually called the Eye and Hand. Imagine that. Artist John Dilworth offers the paintings that he entitled See and Do, and he explains that, quote, "The eye and hand icon manifests the bond between 2 essential human functions, sensing observation with the eye and doing acting with the hand." Of course, this isn't a national symbol, but I included it because I found it noteworthy that he used sensing when referencing the eye, which is similar to what we do with our third eye. Of course, there's the Eye of Providence, also known as the Eye of God, all-seeing eye. It's the eye surrounded by rays of light enclosed in a triangle. In the Christian religion, the rays of light represent divinity, and the triangle represents the Trinity. This symbol's also been around thousands of years and has many meanings, not only to Christianity, most notably being used by the Freemasons and the Illuminati, who used it as a symbol of enlightenment as well as the all-seeing eye. And the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States is also the Eye of Providence. Many clans and countries use the Eye of Providence for their coat of arms and various state seals. I even saw a rendition of the all-seeing eye floating in the sky in an alchemist woodcut. So, I think we all can agree that there's numerous symbology out there with the one-eye likeness, and it's been used for thousands of years. Let's get back to the pineal gland. It's been proven that the pineal gland is most active in youth just before puberty. This makes me think of a show that I saw. It's called The Ghost Inside My Child. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I think it's back in 2013. If you get a chance, check it out. Probably on Netflix or something. It's been suggested that children haven't learned the biases that humans have and therefore are more susceptible of being able to recall past lives, having psychic abilities, that type of thing. And that's what this show was based on. It was a series. And these children's recollections of their past lives and unfortunately their past deaths were uncanny. And numerous instances were documented and confirmed through death records and military records. One little boy kept drawing airplanes, and they traced it back to that he was actually a fighter and died in World War II. So, incredible, but what if they were able to recall these past lives due to the active and healthy pineal gland? So, it's shown as we get older that we accumulate fluoride, which causes calcification in our pineal gland. This calcification is so prominent that X-ray technicians see it clearly and are actually able to use it to mark the middle of the brain. Even though there are cases where calcification is found in younger children, a study by Dr. Jennifer Luke entitled Fluoride Deposition in the Aged Human Pineal Gland shows that the calcification increases with age, and by old age, she doesn't term what old age, and people are living longer, so I'm not sure if she's talking about 30 or 80. So take this with a grain of salt. But she says, and by old age, the pineal gland contains about the same amount of fluoride as teeth. Other studies show that there are higher instances of calcification with people that have Alzheimer's and other forms of dementias, and it has been associated with certain types of migraines and cluster headaches. So what is this calcification called? Anybody have an idea? No. Brain sand. Yep, you got brain sand in your head. So do I. Look it up. It's a real thing. The actual scientific name is Corpora arenacea, but brain sand is easier and more funny to say. So with brain sand accumulated in your head, how do you open your third eye? One of the first things almost all the experts say is get rid of fluoride. It's not a nutrient. You don't need it. And besides your toothpaste, your drinking water probably has it in it. Maybe not. A lot of states have stopped doing it, so I don't think it's mandatory. Well, you should check it out. Some people are for it, some people are against it, but if you're trying to open your third eye, you don't need the extra fluoridation, so if you can, don't use it. If you find out that you do have fluoridated water, then it's suggested that you get a water filtration system to remove it. Another technique is actively visualize your third eye opening when meditating. Visualization is a proven way to see your third eye and all that it's capable of showing you. EnergyFanatics.com advises, when you visualize something, you are forcing your mind to use your third eye. By doing this, you can stimulate your pineal gland into activation. As your pineal gland becomes more active, more high energy, more high frequency energy can flow into your body. This process can heal your body and awaken other dormant sections of your brain. Besides helping you activate your pineal gland, visualization can also improve your talents. The process of using visualization techniques to improve people's talents have been well studied by Russian scientists. They demonstrated that by incorporating visualization procedures in athletes' workout routines, they were able to increase the performance of these athletes. Another way to open your third eye is get a lot of sun during the day, get a lot of dark sleep at night. Be in a dark room, use a mask if you need to. Since the pineal gland secretes serotonin and melatonin, you can stimulate healthy levels of these hormones by practicing sun gazing during the day and using imagery at night before you go to sleep. Even though we were told never to look directly into the sun gazing is a thing, and it has been proven to activate higher receptacles in your optic nerve. When you first start off, just do it for a few minutes, and the best time, of course, is during a sunrise or a sunset, and who doesn't want to see a beautiful sunrise and sunset anyway? Very romantic. So when you go to sleep, it's suggested that you use imagery to see your third eye opening while your eyes are closed. There's also a technique that while your eyes are closed, you see around your room and try to imagine 360 degrees while your eyes are closed. That also stimulates the pineal gland. So since it secretes melatonin, when it senses darkness, the darker the better. Another good time to activate your third eye is right after you wake up. Instead of getting out of bed, lie still and focus your awareness towards your third eye with the intention of opening it. ConsciousLifestyleMag.com informs us that in Taoist practices, the region of the brain bounded by the pineal, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus glands is called the crystal palace. The crystal palace sits between the left and right hemispheres of the brain and between the forebrain of reason and the hindbrain of instinct. Even though some people have a hard time sensing this area with meditation, with a little practice, it is simple to connect with and activate these spiritual glands through our awareness and intention. Many Qigong practices contain simple elements like breathing, tapping that can be used to activate the bones and glands of the crystal palace. When you breathe, it activates the pineal gland by stimulating the flow of cerebral fluid. I said it once. Did I say it twice? I think I've already said it a couple of times. I don't know why it looks so foreign now. Okay, gently tapping your forehead in between your eyebrows activates the pineal gland and all three structures of the crystal palace. The vibration sends a wave directly back to the pineal gland, activating it in the process. Toning or chanting also sends vibrations to the pineal gland, and pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth activates the pineal gland and pituitary glands through physical and chemical connections. In conclusion, there are numerous resources online and at your favorite bookstore, which may be the same, that offer many ways to activate your pineal gland, rev up your pituitary gland, and waken up that third eye. With a little practice, the right intention, and good vibrations, anyone will be able to achieve the goal that I crave. Just remember to keep smiling, don't forget to laugh, and just relax while continuing to focus. Smiling will open your heart and crown chakras. Laughing triggers those yummy endorphins. Relaxing removes stress and increases blood flow. And since energy flows where attention goes, by focusing on your end goal, the universe will guarantee that you get the result that you want. I'm excited to try these techniques and ecstatic at the prospect of enjoying all the benefits that my newfound clarity will elicit me. My third eye open with endless possibilities. Thanks for listening. Namaste.